Hey guys, I'm back. Decided to make another fun little video here because I've been running this channel for quite a few years now and haven't done anything to really properly introduce myself or anything like that. As most of you know, I'm a big cosplayer and I figured this is a good way to break the ice, I suppose, and to at least learn a little bit more about how I view cosplay and enjoy it, all that kind of stuff. So let's just do a cosplayer Q&A kind of thing. So I assembled this list from a few lists that I found online. It's about 21 questions and we're gonna go from there. So to start with, the first question is, how long have you been cosplaying for? I started cosplaying, I'd say officially, since 2011, I would say. Now, there were times before that where I still loved to dress up and be characters and everything like that, but I didn't really start to put the actual effort into doing official cosplays as well as going to conventions and whatnot until 2011. And that was a big deal for me because, again, I love costumes. I've loved them ever since I was a little kid. Halloween was always a blast for me. So the fact that now I could break out and do even more official cool stuff with it was just amazing. It's always something I've enjoyed doing, just costuming in general. And of course, as you might imagine, Halloween is my favorite holiday, which comes as no surprise to most of you, I would think. Number 2, do you make or buy your cosplays? And unfortunately, I mostly buy because I do not know how to sew, or at least I know the basics, I suppose, but I do not know it to the extent of trying to put together a cosplay myself. I suppose I could say I've assembled some cosplays. For example, my Ghost from Layers of Fear and Lynetta, even though for the Lynetta wig I did commission that, but for like the outfit and things like that, I would buy dresses, modify them a bit. Her little pouch thing I did put together myself. And for a lot of other cosplays, even when I buy them, I can sometimes add modifications here and there to make it more adaptable and better for me. But in general, yeah, I tend to just buy, or as I said before, assemble things if I need to. So in that regard, I can do it myself, but for the most part, for anything complicated and whatnot, that I'm gonna end up buying for. And now that I'm branching into more popular franchises like Persona and Genshin and whatnot, that it's a lot easier to buy costumes that way. For a long time, I would have to custom commission cosplays that I wanted to do. And as awesome as that is, because I end up being more niche characters that not a lot of people recognize, it's also a lot more expensive to do things that way. So in some regard, in being into popular fandoms and whatnot, it's nice to take at least a monetary break and be able to do new cosplays without breaking the bank. So there is the upside of that. What was your first official cosplay? Well, for me, it was Daniel from Amnesia, of course. That was the first cosplay that I really broke out into the convention scene and was the first one I actually commissioned. Now, I ended up commissioning it again a few years later in 2016 and got an even better version, but I still have the old one, the original. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's just been sitting in a storage bin. What is your most recent cosplay? Now, this depends. Because there is a cosplay that I recently got in the mail, and then there's the one that I most recently wore to a convention. So I guess we'll go with, I guess I could answer both. Now, the one I most recently wore to a convention that I debuted was my Himiko from Honkai Star Rail. That was a lot of fun to wear. Honestly, I really enjoy cosplaying her quite a lot. And if it ever gets to the point where I want to wear her again, I might consider selling the old version of the outfit that I have and buying a more high quality version of it, because I just got the newest outfit that came out as soon as possible because I was impatient and wanted to wear it as soon as I could. I really like her design and she's really pretty, and she kind of reminds me of Mitsuru from Persona, and everyone who knows me, my favorite Persona lady is Mitsuru, so yeah. Now, the one that I most recently got in the mail is actually Kafka from Honkai Star Rail. So that one I did a full outfit test on. I didn't put contacts in for it, but it's pretty darn close to how the actual thing will turn out. I find it really nice and comfortable, and I really appreciate it because my Eula cosplay, which is kind of similar to that in like design with the shorts and the long sleeves and whatnot, is nice and it's beautiful. I love how it looks. It's just that it's a romper and therefore I have to take the whole thing off if I have to pee, which is really annoying. You have to like time your pee breaks and everything like that around it. So with Kafka, thankfully it's 2 separate pieces, makes things a lot easier. You have to consider these things when you cosplay, especially when you're cosplaying a lot and you're gonna be walking around a lot. It's good to know when you can have a cosplay that's not only comfortable, easy to move around in, but easy to, again, if you need to go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. It's really important to know. So that I really appreciated, and I'm thankful that Kafka's is 2 separate pieces. So thankful. Have you ever been in a cosplay contest? No. And that's because I really don't put my own cosplays together. I suppose one exception is one I made for my boyfriend to be cosplay as Vare from Elden Ring. But even then, I bought the shirt and the pants. They were already made, and the only thing I really put together was the tunic and the mask with the headdress kind of thing. And I bought the gloves. But it was again, it was like assembling and not really making it. I don't know. That's just at least how I see it. But I do like how that cosplay came out when you wore it, so it did get a lot of attention. It was really nice. It was really cool to see that. But yeah, no cosplay contest for me. I don't think I'm qualified. What are your next couple of cosplans? This is quite a few, I suppose, but honestly some I might not do. Like, I've been considering doing one of those bosses from Honkai Star Rail, who's really pretty and I really love her design, but it's so complicated, especially with the headdress and everything, that I'm like, I don't know if I want to go into that much effort to do that, so I might pass on that one. But I've been thinking of doing either Navia or Arlecchino from Genshin Impact. I'm gonna see how the Fontaine story unfolds before I decide. I know a lot of people say that, you know, Arlecchino's more my type, which makes sense, but I do love Navia's design and she's so cool. And I love the fact that her outfit is just so classically steampunk. It's gorgeous. That's why I'm kind of leaning a bit more towards her, but we're gonna see how things go. So I do know though for a cosplay that's gonna probably take place way later down the line. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I would really like to someday cosplay Tanith from Elden Ring. Now she's the lady of Volcano Manor who ends up eating Rykard's body after you defeat him. She's a crazy, I love the whole Volcano Manor family because of course it's messed up and I like messed up things. So, and it's really cool. I like her design, like the outfit and that weird helmet mask thing is really cool. I don't know how I'm gonna make that or pull that off. I did get the 3D files, so I might 3D print parts of it and then try to either make the rest myself or commission the rest. I'm not sure, but I'm really interested in trying to do her at some point. Probably not for a little while because it's probably going to be very expensive, but I would love to do that at some point. Although there is a certain cosplay that I'm actually working on at the moment. I just commissioned somebody for a part of it. I'm not going to say what it is, but it is a cosplay I have kind of done closet versions of for a while before, but I'm now finally making it an official thing and hopefully I will take it to Fanime next year. Once that's finally here and everything like that, maybe I'll make a video about it, we'll see. Cosplay you've worn the most. Well, this is easy. It's my Daniel of Mayfair cosplay. It's my, I guess, trademark cosplay, I suppose you could say. It's the one a lot of people know me for. I've worn it so many times I can't even count. I've had so many live streams where I've played through Amnesia: The Dark Descent over and over, especially being in character. I run a Daniel Cosplay blog on Tumblr, and I've just done so many different things, and I've like lip-synced the various diaries that Daniel writes throughout the game, everything like that. So I've done it so many times. He's a classic in my cosplay repertoire, so it is what it is. What is your favorite cosplay? Okay, well, this one I'm probably gonna have to give to my cosplay of Stefano Valentini from The Evil Within 2, because I always have so much fun being him. I love crazy artist villain types. They're absolutely up my alley. And I've worn his cosplay quite a few times as well. Not as much as Daniel, obviously, but I've worn him to quite a few conventions. Normally, cosplays of mine tend to make it to maybe 1 or 2 conventions when I can help it. but he's made it to at least 4 or 5 by now that I've gone to, which is really impressive. I'm debating if I'm going to bring him back to Katsucon this upcoming year, because that's usually the one I bring him to. Every time I wear it, I always have so much fun. So, what is your cosplay type? Ooh. Now, this I think has changed over the years, because for a long time, throughout that time of doing cosplays, I never really focused on doing female characters. I mostly did cosplay of male characters, which is nothing wrong with that. I love cosplaying as male characters. It's always a lot of fun, especially when I can fool people into thinking I'm actually a dude. That's always a blast. I've fooled a few people with my Daniel, and I think even my Stefano at times. But yeah, I usually would go with horror characters, oftentimes male, and that would sort of be my MO. I of course did outliers here and there, being various other characters. And it's not like I never did female characters for a long time. I did do them, just not very often. It was once in a blue moon I would be a female character. Like I was Mary from Eve way back at the first time I went to fan anime, which was fun. However, lately I've been cosplaying a lot more female characters now that I've really, I guess, become a lot more comfortable in my femininity, and also doing female makeup a lot better, I think, added to it. So a lot more often I've been cosplaying like Dami-Mami types, especially just mother characters in general, whether it's an actual mother or a mother figure, like Himiko, Queen Marika from Elden Ring. I've noticed I've been doing a lot more of those types of characters, like I did Bayonetta at Fanime this past year. So I've noticed I've been gravitating towards those characters a lot more, and it's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it. It's also kind of fun to pull off the, like, mature, sexy look, I suppose. At least if I can pull it off, I try my best. I suppose it feels empowering on some level. You just feel really cool when you can pull that off and walk around and be like, yeah, I'm a boss-ass bitch now. It's fun. It's kind of what I've been gravitating towards lately. What's a fun in-character interaction you've had in cosplay? Oh boy. I can think of one from this past Fanime, where I was cosplaying as Alhaitham from Genshin Impact, and while I was at the Fanime Genshin gathering, I was trying to find my friends and my boyfriend, but I couldn't in the crowd, and then I inadvertently ran into cosplayers that were cosplaying as Tainari and Kave, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool! So I had to get a photo with them, and they were just like, oh, it's so cool to meet you, and all that stuff. Like, had fun interaction, little chat here and there, and that was the end of it. And what I didn't know was that I was going to actually run into them later. I came across them in the bar area of the Hilton, and I just started to talk with them, and I was texting my friends Shinny and Luster to come meet up with us, and then they came in and just started to talk to us in character and just started a whole silly, like, fake argument kind of thing. Last time he got super drunk, he ran around all around Sumeru asking anybody if they had TCG cards to sell. Okay?
I mean, that is a legit question.
That is not a legit question.
It is an actual
Not
legit
everyone
question.
plays the game.
If anyone has
Not
cards
everyone
they want
plays
to sell,
the game.
I will buy
And you need to
it.
realize that not everyone wants to sell them. That's what you go onto that eBay for.
I will be
You go onto that eBay to buy cards. It was so much fun. It was hilarious. There was so much laughing. I couldn't keep a straight face through doing those little arguments. I was laughing the entire time through it. Even though that's not in character, I couldn't help it. I'm a giggly bitch when I get going. I gotta work on my poker face better when doing that kind of stuff. Do you prefer to cosplay solo or in a group? This is tricky because it's a lot of fun doing both. There are certain cosplays that seem to work better as a group, and then there's certain cosplays that seem to work better solo, and then of course there's cosplays that work either way, that can stand alone, be perfectly fine, or just be simply improved by being in a group. I've done a mix and match of all of them, and honestly, it's really fun being in a group. As fun as it is to cosplay solo, absolutely a blast, no doubt about it. When you're in a group, it just feels more fun that way, especially if you do any silly poses while you're getting pictures taken, anything like that. But it's just always a blast when people are just like, oh, a group, it's like, oh my gosh, you're all here or something like that. It's really cool. So I would say I like being in both worlds, but being in a group can be a little bit more fun, especially when you have the ability to do in-character shenanigans with them. That makes things way more fun. Absolutely amazing. But duo cosplays are fun too, even if you're just either couples cosplaying or just being two characters that are related on some level. Like when Zob and I cosplay as Zhongli and Ning Wang from Genshin Impact, we of course get a lot of attention because it's like, you know, the power Geo duo, I suppose you could say. It's really cool. So that is a lot of fun as well. So usually when I can have an option of having either one or more people join me for a cosplay, that's always a blast. Have you ever been in a cosplay panel? Yes, and 2 of those I believe are on my channel actually that I've posted the videos to, where I was in 2 Welcome to Night Vale panels as a hooded figure, and then I think on Shinny's channel was the Dream Daddy panel we did, where I was Damien, and that was a lot of fun too. I was actually pretty in character, well done the whole time, even though I was very shy. I think I recall I was so nervous about doing that we actually went to the bar in the hotel beforehand and got a shot. So I was slightly tipsy at the beginning of that, but even then I was still very shy, I didn't talk that much during it, but thankfully we did things like playing Jackbox and whatnot to kind of ease the tension and not make it too much pressure on us to constantly have a Q&A or anything like that. That was really cool. And was really cool because in the Dream Daddy panel, apparently one of the developers was there. And we were like, dude, we're not worthy, oh my god. We were so intimidated. It was really awesome. I love it when stuff like that happens and you get to meet people who are actually involved in the games that you love. Oh, speaking of, I just want to put this as an aside real quick. I mentioned that I was Himiko at this past Otakon. Apparently, the VA for Serval was there at Otakon this year, and she took a photo of Zob and I as Welt and Himiko, and we didn't even know it until after the con was over. I was amazed. I was like, oh my god, the Serval VA took a photo of us. That's amazing. I was just like, oh man, it would have been so great if my Cocolia cosplay arrived in time for Otakon, because then I could have been like, Serval. With the photo with Serval voice actor would have been perfect, but another time. Still waiting on that cosplay too. What's the hardest cosplay makeup you've done so far? Now this one, I'm torn between 2. One of them is my makeup of Quill from Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, and the other one is of Edwin Mandis from Amnesia Machine for Pigs. And both of these are because I had to cover up my eyebrows and completely cover my face, and with Edwin especially had to cover my mouth in areas with like fake blood and stuff like that. So both of them were pretty tricky and took a bit of time. I think I'll probably lean a bit more towards Edwin Mandis because the outfit and the getup and everything looked great. It's just that makeup felt so sticky. And even when the fake blood finally like stuck to my face, stayed where it was, wasn't going anywhere. Again, it was very sticky, very, I don't know, it just didn't feel very comfortable, whereas with my Quill one, the most discomfort was just because I'd covered my eyebrows. The rest of it was pretty normal makeup. I did wear a beak, obviously, in that one, but it was just, you know, spirit glued to my nose, and while I kept pressing it on just to make sure it wouldn't fall off, it wasn't uncomfortable terribly, really. I suppose another one that was a little complicated was Linetta's too, because I had to make my makeup match the prosthetics makeup, and also having the seam be as clear as possible was also a pain in the butt, and also trying to eat or drink with that prosthetic on was such a pain in the ass. I don't know how I managed it, but I was actually able to eat a burger and fries with that thing, and even there were people nearby saying like, I didn't think you would be able to do it, but wow, you did, that's awesome. But yeah, Linetta's, I'd say was a bit complicated as well, but I'm probably gonna give the crown ultimately to Edwin Mandis because that one I think took the longest. What is your most expensive cosplay? I'll give 2. I'll give my top 2 most expensive cosplays. There's a few, it's usually the ones that I've had to commission custom because, you know, I wasn't gonna be able to buy anything online for those. So I'm going to go with number 1, Simon Jarrett from Soma by Frictional Games. That one, was a lot of money. It was not cheap, but it was really cool because the helmet, the eyes lit up. It was a big hit, I think, in the Soma fandom. A lot of people were wowed by it, so that was really cool. And it was also really fun to be able to take that to the fanime right after Soma came out, so it got a decent amount of attention that way. A little bit hard to breathe in though, especially during the hot days I wore it at, and when that happened, the front pane of it would fog up quite a bit. At least it was easier to see through than a lot of my other masked cosplays. I haven't worn it in a long time, but I don't know, maybe I'll break it out again someday. Now my second most expensive cosplay is the Rat Queen from Layers of Fear, and that was a dream cosplay of mine that came true. I am so glad I got that done. I commissioned 2 different people for it, one for the mask and then one for the outfit, and it came out spectacularly, especially the mask. Like that thing, when the Rat Queen mask is on my head and I'm taking photos of it, even in just a selfie and anything like that, and I turn the lights off, I see that mask in the dark, I'm terrified. Like, that thing is so scary and it's perfect. I love it so much, and I love Layers of Fear so much, so to finally cosplay as the main puppet master, I suppose, is always a bonus. Being a monster cosplayer is always so much fun. Get great reactions out of people, and of course then people are like, whoa, what's that? And they ask questions, all that sort of thing, and then you can be like, yes, let me tell you all about my obsession. But it was really cool. I also brought it to this past AutoCon, to the horror meetup, and actually the leaders of the horror meetup didn't know what I was from, and they were interested though. They're like, oh, that's cool looking, so I got my own announcement to go up and get photos taken, so that was really neat. But yeah, both of them cost quite a pretty penny. But then again, at the end of the day, no regrets, especially for the Rat Queen. That one was totally worth it. Do you prefer to take cosplay photos yourself or have a photo shoot? And I like both. I usually like to take just photos of myself for when I'm doing a first test of a cosplay. And then when I finally go to a convention and really debut it officially is when I like to have photo shoots taken of it. Now, I don't do this all the time. I don't photo shoot every single new cosplay I bring to a convention, but for ones that I really enjoy, yeah, I do. Because you'll find that as a convention goer, even when you have a lot of people taking photos of you, even if you're at cosplay gatherings and those shots are being taken of you, you'll find that you'll get a severe lack of good photos to use to share on either social media or show to people of your outfit. I've always found that if I really enjoy cosplay, it's worth it to have a photo shoot done. You will always appreciate the photos taken afterwards, and you'll end up using them time and time again when people ask about a certain cosplay. It's just, that's the way it tends to go. Contacts or no contacts? This one's simple. Even though it can be a little bit of a pain to have to put them in when you're doing cosplays, I just find it helps me look more like the character when I put contacts in, so I usually do. Adds a lot, and I've also found it cool just to add to the look in general. You find it interesting, especially when you wear realistic contacts, how much your appearance changes just by changing your eye color. I've noticed that a lot when I wear like the light blue realistic ones and I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, wow, that's me? It's weird, but it's really cool too. So yeah, I'm a contacts person, but no judgment to those cosplayers who prefer not to. Totally understandable. It's a personal preference. I just prefer to. Do you style your wigs or buy them pre-styled? This depends on the character. If it's a popular character where they're going to have their own wigs made for them, I'm usually probably going to buy the pre-styled ones, because starting from scratch is usually a pain, especially when you've got to make certain partings, clippings, and not to mention with like Genshin characters, sometimes they'll have a random strip of different colored hair somewhere or some other weird style that is just easier to buy the pre-styled ones and go from there. Oftentimes when you're buying a pre-styled wig, unless it's a simple style, you're gonna have to style it a little bit anyway. So I've gotten better at styling wigs over the years. I can do simple, easy things now. Nothing incredible, nothing super complicated, but I can at least make things work and look a little bit more like the characters they're supposed to. But obviously for characters that don't have their own wigs, and that therefore you have to go hunt for one on your own, those that I tend to just get whatever looks closest and then style as needed as well. So that's usually how it goes. How have you changed as a cosplayer over the years? Well, again, I cosplay more female characters. I use false lashes for female characters now, which I never used to do before. Gotten better at makeup. I've just gotten better at making cosplays fit me, I suppose, or make me more comfortable while I'm wearing them. Like, even when I buy preset already made cosplays, I'll find ways to tweak things to make it fit me better. For instance, my Himiko cosplay came with a bracelet, but it was so big and it was twisted up and looked horrible, so I just trimmed it down and then added my own Velcro pieces to it so it would fit me perfectly around my wrist. Just a simple fix, and therefore it stays on, fits perfectly, looks great. So simple things like that, small little tweaks here and there I'll add. Do you prefer to cosplay AU casual outfits or canon outfits? For me, it's canon outfits. There have been times, I think once in a blue moon, where I'll do something non-canon, but for the most part, I want people to recognize me. I think the only reason I would do a non-canon outfit is if it was something, I don't know, maybe not something displayed in the game itself, but became either a popular fanon thing, or maybe even just official art that didn't bring to the game itself. Like I know the KFC versions of some Genshin characters, that kind of thing, are always fun to do. So for the most part, I usually stick with their canon outfits. What is your dream cosplay? Ugh. Now, I mentioned a bunch of my cosplans and stuff like that, especially the Tanith one coming down the line, but beyond those, I'm not sure. I remember I made a video a long time ago about like my dream cosplays and talking about various Elder Scrolls characters and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, those aren't my dream cosplays anymore, but I'm not sure. I don't know, I think my dream cosplay as of right now has yet to be decided because the past few years I've made a lot of my dreams come true cosplay-wise. So give me some time and maybe down the line I'll have a better answer for that. As of right now, I'm not sure. And last but not least, what is your favorite part of cosplaying? And I think that's when you finally bring it onto the convention floor and get to see people's reactions to it. Like either getting a lot of photos taken of you, a lot of compliments, or just comments on it, or people talking to you in character, or bringing up a meme that your character is known for. That's always just so reaffirming to me, I suppose. It's just a really cool back and forth, especially when you can come across other cosplayers from the same thing, especially if it's the character that's like related to yours or something along those lines, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's such a great feeling to have that acknowledgement, I suppose, especially when you're cosplaying a character that's not very well known. When you have those one or two people that recognize it and you're like, you know who I am, my people, oh my god. It's just, it's a feeling unlike any other. So bringing it onto the convention space is so much fun. But honestly, I like every step of the way of cosplaying too. Thinking about what you wanted to do, planning it out, buying it, whether it's buying the materials or stuff you need to assemble it, or actually just buying the costume already assembled, getting the wig ready, just figuring out how you're going to do the makeup, and then doing an actual cosplay test of the makeup and the outfit, whether one or the other or together, and then finally breaking it out onto the convention space. It's just that culmination of all your hard work finally come together to try and break free into the convention space and hopefully be able to make some new friends in the process. And that's just the most fun part to me. It brings me so much joy. And that's about it. That's the end of the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know what other videos I will make down the line, but I just figured this was a nice, fun little idea to get me back into, I suppose, the swing of doing a few more videos on the regular. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.